Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tips in 10 where we give you the top tips in the least amount of time. This series is built to help you stay in the know without taking a chunk out of your schedule. Let's welcome today's guest, Dr. Keith Johnson. For more than 25 years, Amazon's best-selling author, Dr. Keith Johnson, has been known all over the world as internationally acclaimed confidence coach and speaker. He holds a doctorate of philosophy in theology and serves as president of Destiny College International. Dr. J, as he likes to go by, has had the honor of coaching listen to this, more than 1 million leaders to elevate their levels of success, to do more, and to have more than they have ever imagined. There was a day when America's number one confidence coach had literally zero confidence at all. And then after his first business failed, after accruing $180,000 in credit card debt, and after having to move into living with his mother-in-law, Dr. J discovered the principles to lift himself and anyone from poverty to prosperity. Let's get into it, Dr. Johnson. It's so great to have you today. Thank you so much for being here on Tips in 10.
Hey, Mike, it's great to be here with you also. And yeah, man, I mean, how worse, how bad off can life get when you have to sell everything you have and you have to move into with a mother-in-law who doesn't like you? I mean, I define that as hell on earth. Life can't get any worse than that. But let me tell you something, my friend. What we call a crisis, sometimes God calls a classroom.
I love
that. That was the hardest year of my life, but it was the greatest year of my life because the best gift that my mother-in-law gave me while I was in that house was the thought process of this. How can I get out of here as fast as possible? That's all I was thinking. I was like, I've got to make more money. I've got to achieve results quicker and faster so I can get out of here. And man, I'm telling you, wealth loves speed, right? And the number one enemy to your wealth is delay. And here's what I discovered in my mother-in-law's house. My problem wasn't money. I was making $40,000 a year. My problem was I wasn't making enough money fast enough. You see, if you don't know what the problem is, you'll never ask yourself the right questions to solve the problem. And man, when I start asking myself the right questions, guess what happened? My reticular activation system started kicking on. And instead of listening to the old school guys saying, hey, if you start at 15 years old and save $100 a week, by the time you're 65 years old, you're decrepit and in a wheelchair, you can enjoy a retired life and a wealthy life. But from now on, you need to scrimp. Don't go to the movies. Drive an old beat up junker car and scrimp your way to wealth. I was like, man, I first of all, I'm not 15 years old. I don't have that amount of time. And I'm sure many of your listeners, you're not 15 years old anymore. So that strategy is out the door. We need some things to happen fast. We got a world that is living paycheck to paycheck, 90% of people now. And what you need are fresh strategies to change. Man, Mike, have you ever been in a hurry to go to the bathroom?
100%.
And you went into the wrong restroom?
Unfortunately, yes.
And what did you tell yourself when you walked into the wrong restroom?
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm in the wrong area. Gotta go.
I gotta go what?
And sprint it out there.
Yeah, I gotta go fast. That's right.
Exactly.
When you discover you're in a place you don't belong, and here's my message to all of you.
Yeah.
You don't belong in poverty, and you don't belong in middle class. Those two places are the absolute worst places to exist on the planet from a financial perspective. You have to get out of those places, because here's the challenge we have. The poor are getting poorer, the rich are getting richer, and the pond and the pool of those people getting rich is getting wider and wider and wider. But the middle class is disappearing, my friend. And you're either going to disappear over to poverty, or you're going to go the other direction, and you're going to move into the elite class of those who have abundance. And that's why I wrote the book, Financial Fast Track: How to Experience Abundance, Accelerate Results, and Eliminate Bad Debt Fast. And when I did that, my friend, 3 years, my brother.
Well, define bad debt.
Everything changed.
Sure. What define bad debt?
What's that?
Define bad debt. What is bad debt? Because there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Exactly. I had $180,000 in bad debt. That was credit card debt, from buying clothes, from buying nice dinners out on the town, to all that kind of stuff. Wasting my money on things that didn't produce passive income in my life. So bad debt is defined as anything that is a liability, meaning it doesn't produce a multiplied return on your investment. Good debt is debt that you invest in and you reap, right? You reap back passive income that pays you back, and you make money while you're sleeping.
Right. And what were some of the areas that you did that? Where did you invest into when you initially started doing that?
The first thing I did is I invested into intellectual property. We got a lot of people around here telling you, yeah, you need to go into real estate. You need to go into big apartments, buy some big apartments for your investment. I'm like, no. Most people don't have a couple $1 million sitting around to invest in a great big apartment complex. No. There's physical property and there's intellectual property. The quickest, fastest, and the best profit margin is your intellectual property. What you know that others need to know. See, there's something that happened to you 5 years ago that messed your life up. You overcame it, you won, and there's people who are in your situation right now, right this moment, who need to know what you know. You could take that information, create a product, create a training program to help and serve other people, put it on the internet, and while you sleep in your underwear, woohoo, you're making money.
I love it. So, and what, let's talk about that. So what was another way that you created that? So you created masterclass type things, or what were some of the ways to do that?
Well, I started using my intellectual property in many different ways. Books is one of them. Training courses is another. I created masterminds. I also created a whole consulting program. I call it high ticket consulting, where I consult other people, other leaders. I call them whales. I have a consulting business for whales, high level achievers, that the entry point is $110,000, my starting point for consulting. So I create all these masterminds. I create all this stuff to basically help and to serve people. And right now, I even have 83K Academy, where I've done this now for 25 years. After my mother-in-law's house, I built a multi-million-dollar expert empire, and it's been a joy doing that. But now I'm helping others. I'm like, I've been there, done that, traveled the world, spoke the largest churches in the world, largest business seminar companies in the world, wrote best-selling books. I created a whole college, and I'm just the face of it anymore. But here's the thing. Now I'm helping other people do it, and I'm super excited because I can set it home right here in my studio, and it's attached to my house, and I can go all over the world and be in bed with my wife at night. And not have to look at ugly pictures in hotel rooms. Where did you get those pictures? They're so ugly. Oh.
So I have a question for you, Dr. Johnson. what is someone that's, let's just say where you were, what are 3 steps that they could take right now in order to help improve or get started, to moving forward?
Okay. Number one, I would say your mind needs a picture of a future you haven't received yet.
Mm.
So the first thing you got to do is use your imagination to see yourself in a future that does not exist yet. That's how you tap into your creative abilities.
Mm.
That's your imagination, your image maker. You got to see a future. Your mind needs the picture. You've got to feed the picture. You're not waiting on God. You're not waiting on Mother Earth. You're not waiting on the universe. You have the tool called the imagination. You need to put the picture in your mind. Number 2, you need a picture of a model to follow. You need somebody who has been there and done that, and you need to put that picture of that person in your brain so you can see what they've done and say, man, if they did it, I can do it too. So that's the first step, is you got to see yourself in a future that has not arrived yet.
I love it. I love it. So, Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for sharing those tips. I mean, there's so much content in there, and I would just encourage you all to check out Dr. Johnson and also his new book. Listen, we gotta finish with a little bit of fun. We gotta finish with a little bit of
and
fun.
And by the way, let me say that free gift to all of your listeners. FinancialFastTrack.com. They can go get the book. It's my gift. They pay shipping and handling. That's it. I bought all the copies already. It's my gift to anybody who has me on in this season. My wife and I, we're just giving. We're just trying to help as many people as we can to get this concept.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you also work alongside with John Maxwell too, as well. Is that correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I mean, 1 million people, that's a lot of people. So thanks so much for all that you've done. All right, let's have a little fun with some speed round questions. How many days after the expiration date do you eat food?
How many days after the expiration date? What?
Do you eat the food? If a date of a food expires, how many days after will you say, you know what?
Oh man, I just did that yesterday with my egg whites, man. I looked at the date. It said November 24th, and it was November 23rd. And I threw it away, man. So I don't leave it even to the expiration date.
That sounds good. Tell me something you can buy for $2 or less.
Something you can buy for $2 or less. The best thing you could own is a pen.
I love it. I love it. Very good.
Down.
Let's go. Let's go. Read the book or watch the movie? Both. Listen, it's your show. You can do it. That's not a problem at all. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today on Tips in 10. It was great having you. And get a chance. Check out the book. It's an absolute no-brainer. It's free. You're just going to pay for shipping. Thank you again, y'all.
Speed, brother.
Let's go. Make it happen. Fast. Get it done.